Buddy, good morning, good morning, good morning. Saturday, baby. It's Saturday. What's up, guys? May 14th, Lost Ark Day. Lost Ark Day. I love Lost Ark, man. It's always nice to get to the weekend and have some chill Lost Ark play. Yeah. Hope everybody's weekend's going well. It's good to see everybody. Hopefully, you've got your Java. Let's do what we do before we hop into all this Lost Ark content. And do gaming news. Let's go. Cool, cool, cool. Let's get it. We've talked about this. There's some lawsuits going on regarding specific companies doing this kind of thing. Maybe there's a hint that there might be a new FZero game coming out. That'd be sick. FZero was good times. Yeah, Silent Hill leak all but confirmed by Konami DMCA strike. Yeah, we read about that yesterday, right? Um, there were some leaked images, and then they were basically very shortly after they were put out on Twitter. They got pulled down by a DMCA strike by Konami, which I think is a pretty good indicator that we've got Silent Hill coming. I think that's been the rumor mill for a while, but we haven't had anything significant right till now. So cool, man. Silent Hill, let's go. Okay, here we go. I cannot stress enough that Overwatch 2 isn't Overwatch 2. A lot of people feel like there wasn't any need for them to make Overwatch 2 because there's not enough difference between Overwatch 2 and Overwatch 1. They feel like it should have just been like a content update, yeah? Um, there are, what, a couple new characters right now in the beta, a bit of some character rework, some new skills, but like not nothing insane. And what a map, a few new maps. The maps look better and stuff, but um, overall, a lot of people feel like it just wasn't enough new content in the game to call it Overwatch 2 rather than just a new version of Overwatch 1. So we'll see. Um, who will step up to fill the Starfield sized black hole at the end of the year? I don't even like calling it that. Everybody knows that Starfield was coming. I don't think anybody's going to be getting hyped about a game like that coming from that developer. So, I mean, any game coming from that developer. Till we see that it's actually something decent, it's not going to be a lot of hype around it, anyways, but we'll see. Sony is still gaming's second biggest moneymaker, but looks set to be overtaken. Let's see what that's about. We've already talked about this. Check out the previous news segments. That feels bad. A video game store got broken into, and a lot of their old consoles were stolen and stuff. That sucks. Oh, check this out. Zelda Ocarina of Time PC port now supports 60 frames, save states, Linux, and more. That's cool. Yeah, acclaimed anti-gravity racer Redout is currently free on Epic Store. We talked about the free games yesterday. I'll pull it up real quick. Um, They just changed out their new games that are free. Get Jotun, Prey, and Red Out, like we just talked about, right? So there you go. Go get your free games. Yo, we were just talking about Skull as well. I really want to play Wildermyth as well. There's actually, while we're here, new Steam sale, Total War sale. All these Total War games are on sale. Um, DCS World Steam Edition. What? Air, Sea, Land Combat World. Okay, dude, that looks crazy. That looks pretty nuts. Nice. Um, Borderlands 3, Green Hell, Spirits of Amazonia Part 3 is on sale. So is The Forest. The Forest is only $6 right now, guys. We were just talking about The Forest and how they're coming out with a sequel, yeah? $6 for The Forest. Survival game. Over 300,000, overwhelmingly positive. That's in Valheim realm right there. So probably worth a pickup. Overcooked 2. Subnautica Below Zero is also on sale for 50% off. So nice. Astroneer, Red Dead 2, Team 17 publisher sale. Hell Let Loose, Neon Abyss for $10. Blasphemous is $6.25. Dude, Blasphemous is a great game if you haven't played that and you like Metroidvanias. So there you go. I'm sure there's more, but that's the gist of the new Steam sale there. Okay. Konami just had its best ever year thanks to games you've never heard of. Okay. They've got the Konami code up here. That's great. We already talked about the sale on Humble Bundle for some Steam Deck verified games for like $20. Yeah. Nintendo contractors say company unfairly exploits temporary workers. I'm guessing. Um, we'll take a look at that. The thing about contracted workers is they are not necessarily treated like employees of the company that. Yo, Syke, what's up, buddy? Yo, I saw the yeah, go Stars, dude. Go Stars. Yeah, I saw your GIF in Discord, dude. Game 7, yeah, it's gonna be hyped up, man. It's gonna be super hyped. Oh, dude. Yeah, yeah, Game 7. You gonna come watch it with me? Just come on over and watch it, bro. We'll get some wings, dude. Let's go. I like the GIF you posted. It was good. It was good. I saw it like first thing this morning. I was like, yeah. Game 7, dude. Yeah, I know. I was just messing, dude. I was just messing around. Um, it's good to see you, buddy. How's your day going? Dude, I'm sore. I did some more working out yesterday. My legs are sore, dude. I was having trouble getting out of bed this morning because I'm so tired from it. Not like because I'm that sore, but um the thing about contractors, and I'll talk about this a bit more. I've worked as a full time employee for companies that have also had contractors. Contractors are brought on usually as a means of taking on a heavier workload that the company needs to address more in a view of it usually being like a temporary kind of thing. They're not sure if they're going to need those employees long term, so they hire a contracting company. Um, so basically, these contractors work for a different company. They're contracted on to come work for the other company in an agreement, a contractual agreement with that contractor company, and the business that needs to bring them in. That's why they're not treated the same as full time employees. Tried learning. Oh, okay, cool, dude. Yo, yeah, I would love to have it. I know you said that it didn't necessarily look like your jam, man, but we would love to have you come try it out with us. And again, I mean, just like Metal's kind of getting into our server right now and everything, we'll carry you through anything that you want or need to be carried through, to get you up towards us faster. That'd be awesome, man. I would love to have you. Tried it a bit at least. Yeah, what'd you think, man? What'd you think? So we'll read about this contractor stuff. Um, page 3. Yeah, that's cool, man. I get it. I understand that. I understand that. I mean, one of the things that I like about it is that it does give us something different to play on the weekends. Yeah, Valheim. Yeah, dude, I'm loving Valheim. Dude, it is so dangerous. I know. I'm probably gonna spend a lot of time in that game. I'm gonna spend a lot of time in that game. It's a lot of fun, dude. I love it. I love it. All right, let's go to our other search. Okay, let's see what this is about. Um, a female video game pioneer, Wabbits Van Mai, uh, was lost to history until now. Let's just see what that's about. We've talked about this enough. Yeah, we saw the Gumbrella game. That's cool. Yeah, again, San Francisco State University is actually holding like video game music composition classes, which is really neat. We've talked about EA losing the FIFA license. They're going to continue to create their own EA Sports FC games, and FIFA is going to create their own soccer games with some other developer apparently. So, yep, we talked about the boosting of intelligence by playing games. There's a lot of positives to the increase that can be seen in cognitive functioning between playing video games, especially certain types of video games. FIFA Intelligence, some of the same stuff. We talked about the Twitter game they made. A lot of video game adaptations being brought to the big screen or actually TV series. Just they just continue to find more. Just continue to find more. Alan Wake being the latest that we've heard of, but I mean it's just nonstop. Anything that they can. It's so much easier today too. I mean, um, to take a video game and turn it into a show, I feel is easier today than it would have been like 15 years ago or even 10 years ago. Not that it couldn't have been done, but it'll just be done in a better way now with how far technology has come. Whole EA thing, sports thing around FIFA games makes it sound like one company owning two products and acting as if there's some sort of competition between the two in order to get people to buy more. Who knows, man? Could be a plot or a ploy. I don't think it is. I mean, here's the thing. I'm EA is not a great developer, right? But they hold the licenses to make a lot of games that nobody else is making, such as like Madden and up until now like FIFA. and you don't really see any other big like AAA games being made in that arena. Um, and that's just a couple of examples. But um, competition's good. Competition's good, I think, and I am hoping that I get what you're saying. I hope that's not the case because I would really like to see FIFA hook up with a developer that is going to um, continually elevate what a a soccer, if you refer to it as soccer, football, whatever, um, continue to build and make it better and better and better. EA doesn't do that. EA is about like their ultimate team stuff, making extra money off the games. Um, and they're just kind of usually it seems like they're pretty cool with the game just being in an okay state. It doesn't seem like they're always trying to progress and make things better. So I think competition is good because hopefully it'll have EA, as long as FIFA and whatever developer they get with to make their new game is of good quality, it will potentially drive down sales for EA's game and make them start elevating their production of their game. I mean, that's what you want from competition, right? That's what you would hope to see in the gaming industry, and we'll see how it goes, man. But you could be quite right. Could be quite right. Yeah. I mean, basically what it comes down for in regards to that was from everything that I've read and can tell around the industry, FIFA was presenting EA with a $1 billion kind of deal there. Like, this is what we need from you to allow you to continue making your game with the FIFA brand. And EA was like, sorry, too much. That's too much. And so, I mean, for EA, really, it's just taking the FIFA brand out of the game. They're going to continue to make that game, and it'll just be named something else. It'll have a little bit of a different look because of it, but not greatly. So I don't think they felt like they stood to lose a whole lot. That's why FIFA really needs to come in hard with something good. Well, we'll see. You could be right, Syke. You could be. No longer free. We talked about the free games already. Netflix, we know what they're doing. We've talked about it. We've talked about this as well, and this, and this. Go one more page here. See if we get anything else new. We've talked about the Hall of Fame inductees for video games this year: Miss Pac-Man, Sid Meier's Civilization, Ocarina of Time, and Dance Dance Revolution. There you go. Genshin Impact developer reveals new game Zenless Zone Zero. Okay, let's see what that's about. Shh, shut your mouth. Yeah, this is again. We read into this yesterday. This is Vintage Games getting potentially the market for them being altered or manipulated in a way to make sure that these um, companies that are way up in the business of selling these, auctioning off these games are making more money. So there's some lawsuits going on and stuff like that. We'll see what comes of it. New Fire Emblem Warriors 3 Hopes trailer shows off the blue lions. See what that is too. Let's get in here. Reggie doesn't think Nintendo is done with FZero. This is the guy that used to be the CEO here for Nintendo in North America, right? Yeah, Nintendo of America, former Nintendo of America boss says company is likely experimenting with ideas. Former Nintendo of America boss Reggie doesn't think that Nintendo has abandoned its F-Zero series. Excuse me. despite the franchise now not having seen a release for nearly 20 years. This was a cool game, man. As a matter of fact, the game that's what I was thinking. One of the free games, Red Out Enhanced Edition, kind of reminds me of FZero a little bit. Free on Epic right now. I haven't played it, so I don't know how similar they are, just in looks and everything, really. The last FZero game was FZero Climax, which was released for Game Boy Advance in 2004, 9 months after Reggie first joined Nintendo. Ever since then, hardcore fans have been hoping for news of the series' revival. Speaking in his last interview with GamesBeat to support his new book, the exec reiterated the long-stated line from Nintendo employees that it hasn't been able to come up with any innovative ideas to justify bringing back the racing series. However, he said he believed Nintendo was likely experimenting with ideas that could eventually be applied to a new F-Zero. Why was F-Zero abandoned? The insight I would share is that at least during my tenure, Nintendo developers were always experimenting with different gameplay styles, always thinking about where a unique experience could be applied back, either to an existing franchise or maybe creating a new franchise. My bet is that somewhere in the Kyoto development centers, some developer is playing around with an idea that might be applied to F-Zero. It's never a situation, at least in my experience, where the company makes a conscious decision not to continue supporting XYZ franchise. Historically, it just hasn't worked that way, not when I was there. His comments are far from the first time it's been suggested that F-Zero needs something innovative if it's ever to come back. Last year, Nintendo veteran Takaya Imamura, the artist who designed the characters and vehicles in F-Zero, said he believed the series wasn't dead but still hard to bring back. Okay. In an interview with Game Cult in 2012, Miyamoto reacted with surprise when he was told a Twitter poll said F-Zero was one of the series French gamers missed the most. Since the first game on Super Nintendo, there have been several installments, but I don't think the series has evolved much, he said. I'm very curious and would like to ask these people why F-Zero? What do you want that we haven't done yet? Okay. So it doesn't look like there's any kind of information that they're specifically working on another F-Zero game, a new F-Zero game. It's just the fact that they're always toying around with, different kinds of game ideas and things like that. And it could end up just being like the perfect storm where they're working on something that would work very well to bring F-Zero back, and that's what it would turn into. So, probably nothing to get hype about. Cannot stress enough that Overwatch 2 isn't Overwatch 2. When Blizzard announced Overwatch 2 in 2019, my eyes squinted and my head tilted a few degrees to the right. We're in the age of service games, a time when old games get updated for years after release and challenge the need for sequels at all. Overwatch was among the first to kick off the trend in 2016. Now there's going to be another one? How do you sequelize a game that isn't supposed to end? Almost 3 years later, Overwatch 2's whole deal hasn't gotten any clearer. Blizzard has done a bad job of explaining what its next shooter is, and it's already having a big effect on its first PvP beta. Left with scarce updates for these last 3 years of waiting, players have naturally filled in the blanks, building up their own expectations for what a game called Overwatch 2 should look, sound, and feel like. Now we have a big slice of Overwatch 2 in our hands, and seemingly nobody is happy with it. Except, perhaps, for me. I'm having a pretty good time in Overwatch 2. This is the only person I've heard that said they're having a good time playing the beta. The only thing I've heard is that they were surprised at how it just felt like something that could have been potentially thrown into Overwatch 1. There's just not apparently a significant amount of new content. It could have been patched in and updated the first one. Sojourn, the single new Overwatch 2 hero currently in the beta, is a fun mix between Soldier 76 and Widowmaker. Most of the hero tweaks like Orisa and Bastion have been successful so far. The controversial 5v5 shakeup has been a positive change in my book. The new lighting on old maps is nice. I even dig the new push mode, which is basically a map-wide tug-of-war between two competing payloads. By and large, the new stuff isn't the issue here. But a single new hero, old maps, and hero 2. Here's the thing: you're playing the beta, so you can't tell if they're actually going to have more characters on release than just what you're getting to play in the beta. Uh, aren't really the radical new features that come to mind when I think about sequels. On the first day of the beta, I streamed Overwatch 2 for my friends on Discord. Yo, Metal, what's up, buddy? How's your day going? As I started a match on Dorado, an iconic Overwatch 1 map that now has a daytime version, one friend quickly interjected, "What is this? Where are the new maps? Why are the old maps here?" I was a little annoyed with comment at first. There are a few new maps in the beta, actually, but there are old maps too. To me, this makes sense. I still enjoy the old maps, so I'd be bummed if they were left out of the sequel. As he saw more of the game, he grew more disappointed, and I understood why. My friend, who has a normal person job and doesn't keep up as closely with games, had just assumed that a new game meant completely new stuff. Of course he did. This is supposedly a sequel. It has become increasingly clear that Overwatch 2 isn't a sequel, though, at least not in the way that everyone on Earth uses the word. It's not just that Overwatch 2 feels similar to Overwatch 1, it is Overwatch 1. To play this beta, you simply have to switch to a different version of Overwatch 1 in Battle.net and download a few gigs of extra content. The menus are functionally identical, but look a bit different. All of my Overwatch 1 settings were automatically the same in Overwatch 2. I own all the same skins. My Divas dancing emote is even mapped to the same key I left it on. It's not like Blizzard has been lying about Overwatch 2. It felt like you were melting into your bed? I felt like I was part of my bed, dude. I had trouble like getting out of it this morning. Adding a 2 to the title has certainly misled or at least confused a lot of people. Blizzard has technically been telling us that Overwatch 2 is, for a while, explaining in 2019 that Overwatch 1 players will play alongside Overwatch 2 players, and that every new addition to Overwatch 2's PvP, heroes, maps, modes, would also come to the original Overwatch. In every way that matters, though, the Overwatch 2 beta is more like a patch, or more accurately, it's an expansion. Remember expansions? Blizzard has made a lot of them for other games over the years. Yeah. Yep. That's a lot of what I really come across up to this point was that again, it doesn't feel like a traditional sequel. It feels like it could have just been more of a patched in content thing, or like they just stated here, maybe even just an expansion for the game up to this point. Now we don't know what the full release is going to entail necessarily because right now they're just doing beta stuff, right? And there could be more content coming that we're not aware of. But right now, everything that people have been exposed to makes it feel like it could have just been a patch in for Overwatch 1 or an expansion for the game. Lines between expansion and sequel are graying even further now that Blizzard is formally splitting the PvP and PvE portions of Overwatch 2. Blizzard said it made the decision so it can get Overwatch 2 in the hands of players faster, suggesting that the campaign and PvE is taking a lot longer than planned. The studio didn't go as far to say that Overwatch 2's PvP will come out before its PvE, but I'm expecting that announcement any day. What the new deal is, whatever the new deal is, I wish Blizzard would just say so. Make it clear that this is Overwatch 2, not Overwatch 2, because I'm already tired of having to be the one to explain it to my friends. Well, yes, there's new stuff, but it's also the same game, just doesn't roll off the tongue as a tagline. Yeah. I like Overwatch and Blizzard's terrible messaging, be danged. I think I'm going to have a lot of fun in Overwatch 2, too. But I might start calling it Overwatch 2.0 just to set expectations right. It's probably what they should have done. Yeah. I mean, everything that I've heard, again, can't be sure until the full title releases, but it seems that way. Metal, how are you feeling about it? I know you've played the beta, right? You've been playing the beta. Who will step up to fill the Starfield-sized black hole at the end of this year? There have been a lot of games, that have gotten delayed. Not just Starfield, but it is looking like the summer might be a little bit bleak. Summer in August might be a little bit bleak for game releases. We'll see. We'll see. If that's the case, I'll just catch up on more of my library, man. like it more than the first game, but nothing much has changed really. Yeah, yeah. That's basically what I've been gathering. People don't dislike it; they just feel like it's not a ton of new content, not enough to like make it Overwatch 2. Yeah, I mean people love Overwatch 1, so it's not a surprise that them making Overwatch 2 and it not being all that different than Overwatch 1, people are still going to enjoy it, right? It's just not what people were expecting, I don't think. Waiting on PvE news? Yeah. Yeah, I've heard that too. I've heard that. I mean, all the way around, I've heard that like the game just looks better. Um, Psych, have you played it too? I mean, I've heard that all the way around that Overwatch 2 looks better for sure. Um, and again, that's kind of what I was stating from the get go. Whenever I started hearing all this, was maybe this was a point for them to create a new base for the game, and something better to build off of moving forward over what Overwatch 1 had. I don't know, but it could potentially be that. Yeah, I have heard the game looks much better. Okay. Yeah, Heroes of the Storm. Yeah, right on. Cool. Who is simply going to trip right into it? People thought that the biggest problem in the game was that the golden guns don't look as pretty as they do in the first game. Oh, really? Okay. Well, it's still the beta, so if they're actually listening to people's feedback, maybe they'll do something about that. Who knows? That's part of the reason you do betas, right? You get people's input, or that's why you should be doing a beta, not just as like stress testing and things like that, but to get actual input from the community that's going to be playing the game, right? So hopefully they'll take that into consideration and maybe make some changes to make the guns look better. Um, Starfield is delayed to 2023, and whether you really thought that it would launch on time or are not surprised at all, the end of this year is now a big black hole. Okay. Right. Yeah. Thanks, man. Thanks, guys. Starfield's delay, way bigger problems in this beta. Like what, man? Care to elaborate on that? Starfield's delay has shaken our confidence in the other big games that we've been expecting to ride by the end of the year. Will other big launches fall into the gravity well as such a major delay, taking the opportunity to announce their own? It's the middle of May, which means we're all nervous, side eyeing the season formerly known as E3, wondering what the summer showcase schedule will bring. Who will turn up with apologies and delays, and who will surprise us by rolling out a long awaited holiday release date? Yeah. Atomic Heart. Oh, dude, we've seen this. This looks pretty wild. Atomic Heart has been coming this year off and on since 2018. The retro futuristic single player shooter about a KGB agent fighting wild machines has been tough to pin down over the years, but every time it shows up with a new gameplay video, it looks slick. Yeah. This year it's claiming a sometime in 2022 release date. And you know what? I believe it. Uh, some of the so we're talking about Overwatch 2 here. Some of the new reworks playing broken. Orisa, okay. And there are bugs in the map. You can get stuck between a lamppost and a wall. Okay. Well, again, that's one of the reasons beta testing happens. Um, Helping get testing done for the game to find out where there might be issues so they can start working on making sure that kind of stuff is patched into the game when it's a full release, right? So, and again, same thing for character balancing and stuff, so they can get a really good look at who might be super underpowered and need to be brought up, balanced upwards, and then somebody like Orisa that might be way scaled way too OP and needs to be brought down, right? So it's good. It's good that you're seeing these things that need to be worked. Yeah, yeah. See, that's terrible. I mean, it's not bad to maybe voice that opinion as like a side note or whatever, but Yeah, I'm right there with you, Metal. Beta should definitely have a look at um, significantly gameplay wise. You know, bugs being found, balance issues, things like that, over just the way something looks. I mean, you guys all know how I feel about that, anyways. Um, so I very much agree with you, Metal. Yeah, for sure. Hopefully, again, these kinds of things that you're bringing up that you've noticed, they'll have a dedicated, very thorough look at these issues people have come across and get them fixed before the main game drops. Yeah. Atomic Heart actually looks really cool. Avowed. Here we go. Here we go. Ted Litchfield, associate editor, the other big first-person open worlder from an RPG studio acquired by Microsoft, Obsidian Entertainment gave us a pre-rendered trailer for this spin-off of Pillars of Eternity back in 2019. And since then, things have been pretty quiet. There is nothing to suggest that Avowed will actually release this year. We have seen even less of it than Starfield, but maybe we can will it into existence through positive thinking. That's what I'm saying. Let's go. Avowed. Avowed. We need Avowed. uh, so Nightingale, Christopher Livingston features producer. The ex Bioware devs over at Inflexion Games, Avowed site, Avowed, everybody, Avowed. Collectively put our thoughts into making sure they get Avowed out to us. Um, that's what we need. We need Avowed. Buy a sandwich? All right, Syke, we'll see you in just a bit, dude. Uh, The ex Bioware devs over at Inflexion Games are cooking up a shared world survival game set in a fantastical alt history Victorian era, Nightingale. There are alpha and beta tests planned for before an early access release towards the end of 2022, which could be big for gamers looking to get lost in a new co-op survival experience. If Inflexion manages to stick to its schedule, the absence of Starfield could convince players to give up the idea of spaceships and robots and get them to pick up some gas lamps and bowler hats instead. Oh, we've seen this as well. We've seen this as well. Mm-hmm. Okay. Yep. Oh, here we go as well. Silk Song, please, dude. Hollow Knight Silk Song. West Finland senior editor. Summer Games Fest Twitch chat. Me chanting Silk Song, Silk Song. Other viewers Silk Song, Silk Song. Jeff Keeley, white knuckling microphone, Silk Song, Silk Song, Silk Song. Save us, Team Cherry, dude. Everybody's been wanting Silk Song for so long now. Yeah, yeah. I love that this is all they wrote about it. Just that's all. People are just they want it so bad. Just chanting Silk Song. Yeah. But again, this is the thing. You're gonna try to follow up a game, make a sequel to something like Hollow Knight. That's a task. That's a task. And I can only assume that Team Cherry wants to do a very good job. I don't know that they're gonna be able to hit the same uh, magic that they did with Hollow Knight. I hope so. If it's even remotely close, oh man, I'm gonna be so happy. uh, Hollow Knight is amazing, amazing, and I think that Team Cherry I think they really understand how much of an absolute masterpiece Hollow Knight is, and they want to do its sequel justice. That's what I'm hoping, anyways. So I think that's what a lot of us are hoping. It's taking them a while, so I'm just hoping that's the case, man. We need some Silk Song for sure. Skull and Bones. Andy Chalk in a news lead. That's right, I'm calling it. Skull and Bones, the game that just a few months ago Ubisoft had to remind us still exists, will make it for the 2022 holiday season. Again, if you're not familiar, Ubisoft right now is not putting out any kind of release dates. Um, they've been cleaning some house on some stuff. There's rumor mill going around that Ubisoft could be the next studio to get be part of an acquisition, get acquired, or to be sold or bought. And uh, I think that's partially the reason why they aren't putting out any release dates right now. Uh, they're holding on, I think, to see what would happen with an acquisition and stuff like that. Potentially, partially, anyways. The multiplayer pirate game has been floundering beneath the waves for the better part of a decade, but a call recently went out for testers. Gameplay footage has leaked, and Ubisoft said earlier this year that really, truly, and for sure this time, it will be out sometime in the company's current fiscal year, which ends March 31st, 2023. Uh, Come hell or high water, I think Ubisoft is going to get that sucker out the door before the end of the calendar year. It needs a big release to buoy the company's flagging fortunes, especially with all the rumors of buyout sharks circling. Yeah, with Starfield delayed the path to the top, or at least meaningful levels of attention, it's suddenly a lot clearer. It's an opportunity Ubisoft can't afford to miss. Um, Check out Vin Diesel, yo. Vin Diesel. Arc 2. Chris Livingston features producer. Studio Wildcard isn't shy when it comes to early access. Arc was notoriously a huge mess when it first arrived, and Atlas was somehow in even worse shape. But Arc 2, which hasn't yet announced a release date beyond 2022, has some star power attached to it in the form of Vin Diesel, who isn't just acting in it, but also serving as Studio Wildcard's president of creative convergence. Whatever the heck that is, I was going to say, what does that mean? That could mean the studio will aim to release a more complete game than it has in the past, so I wouldn't be completely shocked if the Dino Survival sequel gets nudged into 2023. Stalker 2. Stalker 2 was first announced in 2010, and you think it's going to come out this year. During an ongoing pandemic and war in the developer GSC Game World's home country of Ukraine, I know it was already delayed from April to December, but it's hard to imagine the developers being focused on making Stalker 2 right now. Yeah. They've said development will continue, but for now they have bigger things in their minds. Absolutely. Yeah. And nobody could blame them for it getting pushed back either. Absolutely not. Vampire the Masquerade Bloodlines 2. Bloodlines 2 has not had an easy time of things. It was originally supposed to release in 2020, then late 2020, then 2021, and now there's no year at all. Top of that, former developer Hardsuit Labs got canned, and Paradox Interactive hasn't actually said which studio has been put in charge of getting it over the finish line. Bloodlines 2 hasn't committed to launching this year, but even if it does, no, it won't. Okay. There we go. Well, yeah, there's at least some good talk about what we might see this year aside from Starfield. Yeah. Atomic Heart has looked cool. We've seen a bit of that. Avowed would be sick to hear some more about Avowed. I think we'll hear more about a lot of these games coming up within the next month or 2 months. Because E3's canceled, there's going to be a lot of showcases and things like that, right? So we're going to see a lot about what to expect for releases coming up later this year, especially with some of these that we've been hearing about for quite some time. Sony is still gaming's second biggest money maker, but looks set to be overtaken. Microsoft's deep pockets will make a difference. Sony held its position as gaming's second biggest money maker for the financial year ending March 31st of March, but it looks set to fall into follow position once Microsoft's acquisition of Activision Blizzard is finalized. PlayStation pulled in 18.2 billion in revenue for the previous fiscal term. So their fiscal year last year, they made $18.2 billion, which was eclipsed only by Tencent's eye-watering $32.2 billion. Apple rounded out the top three with $15.3 billion. Good night. That's a lot of money. In the research compiled by Newzoo and reported by VentureBeat, PlayStation actually saw a 2.3% dip year over year due largely to PS5 stock issues and the easing of lockdown restrictions. Many people were pushed towards gaming during the height of the pandemic, which saw a huge increase in engagement on games consoles like the PS5 and PS4. With those issues now easing, many are slowly returning to their usual routines, leaving less time for gaming. Regardless, it looks like Sony's position in second place looks likely to fall, as Microsoft's acquisition of Activision Blizzard is likely to make its gaming department a bigger money spinner than PlayStation's, unless, of course, it responds in kind. The Xbox division pulled $12.9 billion in revenue for the previous fiscal year, while Activision Blizzard managed $8.1 billion. So you can basically plan on that Activision Blizzard number being added into Microsoft's there. Yeah. Nintendo, for the sake of interest, registered 8.1 billion, but it's worth remembering that profit and revenue are not the same, and the House of Mario is extremely profitable despite its revenue being lower. It'll be interesting to see how the PlayStation business matures over the coming generation, as it looks to new growth vectors like the rebooted PS Plus subscription and PC gaming. Yeah, yeah. Um, they're trying to do what Microsoft's been doing with that subscription service. We'll see how it goes. Gamer, what's up, buddy? How are you, my friend? Happy Saturday, dude. No work this weekend, I hope. Zelda Ocarina of Time's PC port now supports 60 frames, save states, Linux, and more. The unofficial PC version has also been updated with accessibility features and more. As part of the fan development team's latest Ship of Harkinian Direct, Harbor Masters unveiled the frame rate boost as well as a host of new features. In addition to 60 frames per second, the port now runs on Linux, and new features such as save states, Game Shark style cheats, and accessibility features such as voice descriptions have been added to the game. The next release of the port, named Roy Alpha, is now available on the team's official Discord. The new features were unveiled via a video published on Friday. Cool. Ship of Harkinian brought Zelda Ocarina of Time to PC earlier this year with many new features such as HD graphics, ultra widescreen resolution, keyboard support, modding support, force feedback, and gyroscope aiming. We saw a lot of that earlier this year. It's really cool. The PC port was made possible thanks to a 2-year fan project which successfully reverse engineered a version of Ocarina of Time into compilable C code. A similar decompilation project led to a Super Mario 64 PC port in 2019. Mario 64's PC port was quickly modded with new graphics and modern effects such as ray tracing. And it looks like Ocarina will receive even more modding support. This kind of reverse engineering is made legal because the fans involved did not use any leaked content, nor use any of Nintendo's original copyrighted assets. Players will have to provide their own version of the game ROM in order to play the port. Oh, dude, gamer, day 1 of 10 days off. Let's go, buddy. You just like on vacation right now, man? That's sick. I hope you get to just chill out, have some nice, relaxing time, man. Speaking to VGC in January, Harbor Masters developer Koenig said that the group started working on its PC port virtually as soon as Ocarina of Time's code was fully reverse engineered. The group is calling its port Ship of Harkinian, which is a reference to a line of dialogue in the infamous Zelda CDI spin-offs. Cool. That's really neat, man. It's really neat. I mean, as amazing as a lot of these and just defining as a game like Ocarina of Time was, it going back and playing it just like as a cartridge on your 64, um, it feels brutal at times because you get those low frame rates and it doesn't look great. You know, back when it came out, it looked amazing, but to today's standards, it's just not. We get so used to what we play all the time, going back and playing something like that doesn't feel super great, even as amazing as the game is, right? So having things like this happen where it kind of upgrades the experience visually and playability a little bit smoother because of the higher frames and stuff is cool to see. Not a lot of people will still want to play Ocarina of Time in its original state, and I understand that. But this is a cool thing for people that like a little bit smoother of a visual experience and playthrough and stuff. First week of 3 I get this year. Relaxing is main priority. There you go, buddy. That's good to hear, man. That's good to hear. I'm happy for you. Nice, man. 10 days off. That's good. Cool, 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 man. So, Konami just had its best ever year, excuse me, thanks to games you've never heard of. This is the Konami code, if you're not aware. Made famous by Contra on regular Nintendo. Up, up, down, down, left, right, BA. Quite often they would put like select start in there or whatever. I think that's what it was fully. But this is the base of it. Yeah. If you're not familiar, this is Konami code. If anybody ever references that, now you know. Up, up, down, down, left, right, BA. Konami has announced that its last financial year, April 21st through March 22nd, was the most profitable in the company's history by a huge distance. The Japanese publisher's operating profit was 74.4 billion. Is that yen? What? Not yen. What is this currency? Yeah, it is the yen. Yeah. Okay. I wasn't wrong. Japanese yen. Yeah. Okay. Cool. Just want to make sure I was right. Let me make sure. So profit was 74.4 billion yen, which translates to roughly 577 million US, and its net profit was 58.8 billion, or about 425 million. Despite the perception among some that Konami doesn't make games anymore and is basically a pachinko business, the financial results show that the opposite is the case. What is true, however, is that many of Konami's biggest successes either don't come to the West or largely go under the radar outside of their captive audiences. A big recent success, for example, is Yu-Gi-Oh! Master Duel. Released on Steam in January, this free-to-play game has since amassed over 30 million players and will doubtless be kept going for many years to come. But Konami's also had a big hit with Montaro Dentetsu, which is only available on Switch in Japan and sold over 3.5 million. This is a long-running series, originally a Hudson Soft joint. It's basically a cheery board game about train stations. Huh. So there's the Yu-Gi-Oh stuff, yeah. Within the financials, Konami breaks down its business into digital entertainment, which is home video games, amusement, these are the pachinko machines, as well as arcade games like Betmania. Sports, it runs leisure centers in Japan, and rather confusingly, game and systems casino software. Of Konami's 299.5 billion yen in revenue over this financial year, 215 billion yen is that from digital entertainment, 19.5 billion from amusement. No clearer language than money, and that means 72% of Konami's revenue is coming from video games. Just to ram home the point, Konami released 18 video games over this financial year, admittedly, some of them doubling up across mobile and PC console. The home titles Super Bomberman R Online, eBaseball Pro Yakyu Sports 2022 Grand Slam, Yu-Gi-Oh! Rush Duel, Dawn of the Battle Royale, Beat Arena Konatsut? I probably butchered that. Castlevania Advance Collection, eFootball 2022, Tokimiki Memorial, Girls Side Fourth Heart, Dance Dance Revolution Grand Prix Konatsut, Power Progun Pocket R, Sound Voltex Exceed Gear Konatsut, and Yu-Gi-Oh! Master Duel Gitsu Fumaden Undying Moon. Mobile games Jubeat Contra Returns, Castlevania Grimoire of Souls, eFootball 2022, Yu-Gi-Oh! Master Duel, Eden's Zero Pocket Galaxy. All of which is to say, Konami's had a bit of a monstering in the West since the Kojima split. But a lot of the things said about it are just straight up untrue. It does admittedly seem to be less interested in bringing certain of its titles to Western audiences than other big Japanese publishers. But it's not just sitting there churning out pachinko machines. Other notable elements in these financial results, though this is probably wishful thinking, is that Konami references Metal Gear several times as one of its biggest franchises. The financials include a note that Metal Gear series has sold 58.3 million units, making it Konami's second highest selling series after winning 11 eFootball. Given today's apparent Silent Hill leak, yes, and Konami's aggression in going after it, that may not be the only classic series that has a future. Yeah. So if you're not aware, there were some leaks yesterday, or it was maybe the day before, but some leaks on Twitter of Silent Hill images, screenshots and stuff. And apparently Konami put in a DMCA complaint and they got taken down like that. So there's a lot of thought that that's a pretty good indicator that we will be seeing a new Silent Hill game before too long, which is really exciting. Uh, a worker reckoning at Nintendo. Workers at gaming giant. Whoa, 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 whoa. Nintendo of America say the company's reliance on temporary workers is exploitative and that efforts to bring about change have been stymied by fear of reprisal. Driving the news, current and former Nintendo contractors have been speaking up over the past 3 weeks since Axios first reported a complaint filed with the National Labor Relations Board against Nintendo and a contracting firm. What they're saying: I loved what I did. I hated how I was treated. A former contractor named Ash Ketchum, who asked that their last name be kept private because it's Ash Ketchum, tells Axios. They worked in Nintendo's customer service center for several years through 2015, where they caught many, many Pokemon. I'm just kidding. Strict time off rules for contractors and limited pathways to full-time employment added to stress that contractors could be dropped at any moment. That pressure, they said, aggravated a heart condition. Ash says their moment of disillusionment came when their grandpa died. I was told if I went to his funeral, I wouldn't have a job when I came back. That sucks. State of play. Ash's story echoed those shared by 7 other current and former contractors who spoke with Axios about their time at Nintendo. Their accounts square with those published by gaming news sites Kotaku and IGN. Those outlets cited interviews with dozens of workers who say Nintendo treats its large contingent of contractors, technically employed by staffing firms, right, that's what I was talking about earlier, as second-class citizens. I mean, that's usually the way it works. Because you don't actually work for Nintendo. You work for your contracting company, right? The staffing firm. Um, as they're referencing it here, at least this is my experience in the business world as far as I've never been a contractor, but I've worked with many contractors. You are basically locked into whatever the staffing firm set up as a contractual agreement with the company that is taking on their contractors. Um, and quite often those terms are much different than than full-time employees of the business that's bringing in those contractors. So there's usually a lot of significant differences in how contractors are treated as opposed to, and again, I'm going off my own experience, as to people that are actual full-time employees of the company itself. Um, and it's large in part due to the contract that was set up and agreed upon between the firm that actually employs these contractors and the business that is taking those contractors on from that staffing firm. These contractors fume about a status quo they believe was established to avoid violating labor laws. Cycles of 11 or 10 or 11-month contracts that can be quickly cut short and are followed by 2-month breaks with expectations they'll come right back. They describe employees who log 3, 5, even 10 years of these cycles without many of the benefits of full-timers but are never converted to full-time. Yeah, your benefits come from your staffing firm. That's who they actually work for. So if they're going to get benefits, it would be through them. Here's the deal. Quite often, contractors make much more money, at least, again, in my experience, contractors make much more money than people in the same position that would work for the business that's bringing them on. Um, but the flip side of that is they don't quite often have the same kind of benefits like healthcare or whatever, you know what I mean? So there's like a trade-off there. They don't really accrue the same kind of time off and stuff like that, right? Again, a lot of that is just set in place by what's agreed upon by the firm they actually work for in a contractual agreement with the business that brings them in. And I'm just speaking in generalities of the kinds of things that I've experienced and witnessed in my own employment ventures, right? I've never been a contractor, but I've worked with a good amount. Um, And it's a fairly volatile thing because, like what you're talking about right here, the cycles of 10 or 11-month contracts. Because the thing is, whenever the contracts end, you can't ever tell how many of those contractors the company that had contracted them in are still going to need. So there's a chance you're going to be like not brought back on if you're not needed because you're actually being worked through this staffing company. It's a real weird thing, man. To go work for this other company. They describe employees who log 3, 5, even 10 years of these cycles without many of the benefits of full-timers, but are never converted to full-time. I think that's the thing. There needs to be the thing that's rough about it is I think there needs to be some laws in place where if you're working as a contractor for a business for a certain threshold of time, it's obvious they need you. And it needs to be converted into a full-time position. I think that's the thing. If that's what that employee wants. The Contractors story center on Nintendo of America, the U.S. subsidiary of Kyoto-based maker of Mario, Zelda, and the Switch. Nintendo of America, headquartered in Redmond, Washington, has far more than a decade supplemented its full-time labor force with hundreds of contractors. One longtime contractor estimates who largely worked in its customer service and product testing divisions. Even in the company's vaunted treehouse, where games are translated from Japanese and localized for America, Nintendo uses contractors for nearly half of its team. Two sources say, keeping them in that status for years at a time. Goes up to every level. One current localization contractor told Axios, under the condition of anonymity, it even affects the people writing the games you love. Nintendo hasn't commented publicly about the uproar from its workforce and did not reply with questions from Axios. A few days after contractors began speaking out, Nintendo of America President Doug Bowser, what a name, dude, for the president of Nintendo, sent an internal message to employees regarding stories appearing in some media today about alleged working conditions at Nintendo. Like many of you, the executive leadership team, and I find many of these points troubling. We are closely reviewing the content. These are like generalized things that all these companies put out when they get exposed for this kind of potential, these kinds of potential issues within the runnings of their businesses. These are general statements that will come out. We have a zero tolerance for inappropriate conduct, including harassment, discrimination, or intimidation. And Nintendo's also, if you don't remember, under fire right now for potentially trying to get rid of employees that were trying to start a union. Things like that. So, I don't know, man. Between the lines, Nintendo of America's use of contractors is somewhat typical of game companies and the wider tech industry, yeah. But contractors are disappointed with Nintendo, a wealthy company that markets its penchant for putting smiles on faces. Maybe it's just because on some level I expected better, the current testing contractor said. These companies rely on a contract workforce with no stability. Again, so Reggie, the former North America president for Nintendo of America, or the former president for Nintendo of America, who worked in senior positions at the company from 2013 to 2019, told Axios, what's being described is not the Nintendo of America I knew. He said the company hired a significant number of contractors or associates into full-time roles during his tenure, but added that he truly understands the frustration of those who haven't been. Stymied activism. Contractors who spoke to Axios said they and their peers largely avoided pushing back against management, but too recalled a mid-2014 effort when a group of Nintendo customer service workers began meeting off-site to discuss ways to force change and possibly unionization. Those meetings ceased after their management at Nintendo-affiliated Parker Staffing found out about them. Two sources recalled getting an email from a Parker manager encouraging them and their colleagues to think of the company as a family and that organizing wasn't necessary. It was union bustering without technically being union bustering, a former contractor recalled. Current contractors say union talk at the company is rare. See? Yeah, former Nintendo contractors hope recent revelations bring change. former contractor Ash, who we were reading about earlier, who moderated the group, said it had a few hundred members. They shut it down out of fear of drawing management's attention. They're talking about a Facebook group called Nintendo Recovery Center. Yeah, so I don't think contracting is a bad thing for companies to undertake. There are reasons for it. If they feel like they're in a position where they need help getting a number of employees in to handle a workload, that's quite often why contractors will be brought in. But to continually have contractors there, the same contractors there over a significant period of time, means that they should have the option to be turned into a full-time employee for that company. If it's blatantly obvious they need those employees long term, they need to be turned into employees, permanent employees, if that employee wants that to happen. I can also see that, bringing people in initially as a contractor could be a good way to get a feel for the performance of that employee before potentially keeping them on and getting them to a point where they would be a full-time employee, right? Maybe kind of like a probationary period to have them work in a non-permanent type position to get a feel for what kind of employee they are before getting them to that point. But definitely, if an employee is kept on for a significant length of time, whatever that threshold should be, I don't think it should be like anything close to 5 or 10 years between there. Probably something more like 2 years, maybe. If they're kept on for like that amount, I don't know. I don't know what a good time frame would be, but it does seem like there should be some kind of laws in effect that get people turned into full-time employees if they're kept on. But then you're gonna experience some things where companies are going to try to circumvent that issue as well by just letting those contractors go and replace them with other contractors. Probably, it's a hard thing to address. It really is. Genshin Impact developer reveals new game Zenless Zone Zero. So looks like MiHoYo, the developer of Genshin Impact, using the global brand of HoYoverse, has officially revealed its latest video game, Zenless Zone. The reveal itself, let's take a look. Is there anything? No. Okay. The reveal itself isn't exactly unexpected, as the developer had launched a countdown teaser website and social media accounts for the new video game. But today marks the first real information about the upcoming title. Zenless Zone Zero is a new action role-playing game for PC and iOS, though no release date has been announced as of yet. According to the announcement, Zenless Zone Zero is an entirely new urban fantasy IP focused on action-oriented gameplay that is set in a post-apocalyptic city. Players take on the role of a proxy with different partners to fight enemies in New Eridu. It's described as the latest shelter for urban civilization. You can check out the first real trailer for Zenless Zone Zero for yourself embedded below. Let's take a look at this real quick. I'm gonna turn the sound off though, just in case. Let's see what this is. Hopefully they'll show some actual gameplay and not just cinematic stuff. But look, MiHoYo obviously knows what they're doing. Genshin Impact is very successful. It's a very well developed gacha game. Very well. I like the bear. Bear's dope. It looks cool. Gunslinger. There's the destroyer. I'm just kidding. Artillerist. I'm all ready for some Lost Ark, man. I love our Lost Ark content. It's so much fun. Sorry, I have the audio off because I never can tell. Quite often, what'll happen is like we'll watch videos like this, and when like I always put the news segments on YouTube, right? And whenever I put them on there, if we watch trailers and they have music and even just video game music, a lot of times it'll get like a copyright violation strike on it and stuff, and I'll have to mute out the entire segment anyways. So just easier to do it like this, and at least be able to talk about what we're seeing a bit. Zenless Zone Zero. All right, Mihoyo's new title. New title. Cool. Cool, cool, cool. Contemporary civilization has been destroyed by a supernatural disaster known as the Hollows. They grow exponentially out of thin air, creating disordered dimensions where mysterious monsters, dubbed the Ethereal, roam. The official announcement's description of the game reads in part, New Eridu, the last urban civilization that survived the apocalypse, managed to thrive by acquiring the technology to extract valuable resources out of the Hollows. As noted above, Zenless Zone Zero is a new action RPG for PC and iOS with no definitive release date as of yet. Closed beta signups are now open, though dates for that have not yet been revealed. As for Genshin, version 2.6 Zephyr of the Violet Garden is currently available. The version 2.7 update, while expected to happen in the near future, does not have a release date. We actually read about that in the news. It's kind of been delayed indefinitely. Hopefully they'll get it out sometime soon. Genshin Impact itself is available free to play for PS4, PS5, PC, and mobile devices. The video game is also set to eventually release for Switch, though no definitive date has been announced for that as of yet. It looks cool. I think it was a lot of cinematics there, though. It'll be better to see what gameplay will actually include there. There could have been a little bit of it in there. Zenless Zone Zero, there you go. MiHoYo. They're making some cool games. New Fire Emblem Warriors 3 Hopes trailer shows off the Blue Lion. Nintendo and Koei Tecmo have released a new trailer for the upcoming video game Fire Emblem Warriors 3 Hopes. Dude, I used to kill some Tecmo Bowl. You guys know what Tecmo Bowl is? Like American football? Like, what's up, dude?
Hey, shut your pie hole, buddy.
Sandwich, bro. Thanks, man. Dude, that name, I need to fix the name stuff to where it's got some shadow on it or something if I can. The video game set to I just need to change it, probably a different color instead of white. Set to release for the Switch on June 24th is a spin-off title that takes place in the world of Fire Emblem Three Houses. As such, it's no surprise that it features a number of characters from Fire Emblem Three Houses, and the latest trailer specifically highlights the characters from the Blue Lion's house in that title. More specifically, the new trailer offers the best look yet at the designs and gameplay for Dimitri, Dedue, Mercedes, Ash, Felix, Annette, Sylvian, and Ingrid. Each of them has a distinct method of fighting enemies in the Musou-style gameplay of the Fire Emblem Warriors franchise that is based on the characters' previous appearance and iconic class. It seems likely that in addition to new trailer that highlights the characters from the Holy Kingdom of Fargus, there will be 2 further trailers highlighting characters from the Golden Deer and Black Eagle's houses in the near future. Ooh, spicy falafel? Fried halloumi wrap. Dude, halloumi wrap. That sounds good, dude. That sounds good. I bring a new. You bring news? Is that what you mean, Metal? What's up? Oh, what is this? Okay, cool. Yo, thanks, Metal. Thanks, man. Cool. I appreciate it, buddy. Yeah, we'll take a look at it after this article, okay? Thanks, man. Thank you. Yeah, again, you guys, if there's stuff that I haven't covered previously or it doesn't look like I'm about to cover it in this segment, bring it to me, baby. Let's go. Yeah. You can check out the new trailer for Fire Emblem Warriors 3 Hopes for yourself embedded below. We'll take a look at it in just a moment. It remains unclear exactly how Fire Emblem Warriors 3 Hopes will take into account the events of Fire Emblem 3 Houses. It's known that the protagonist is a new character, Shez, and a previous trailer seemed to indicate that Shez finds themselves with some reason to fight Byleth, the protagonist of Fire Emblem 3 Houses, alongside one of the 3 houses from the original video game. As noted above, Fire Emblem Warriors 3 Hopes is set to release for the Switch on June 24th. So, month and a half. Video game follows a different version of the story from Fire Emblem 3 Houses. You can check out all of our previous coverage of the upcoming Nintendo Switch video game right here. Okay, let's see what this is about real quick. It's basically just Chaos Dungeon. Yeah? It's just Lost Ark Chaos Dungeon. Just go slaughter a bunch of enemies. It was random emote time, guys. Oh, look at that emote we're going for too. M and MJC. Here you go. I sometimes I type in random toe. Well, there you go. There's your trailer for Fire Emblem Warriors, available June 24th. All right. Nopers. Pinky, I love it, dude. That wasn't too far off there, Pinky. But as Stream Elements says below yours with mine, Nopers. Nopers. Cool. There we go. Let's see what Metal brought us. Yo, Metal, thanks, buddy. Sega says it's planning multiple remakes, remasters, and new games this year. The company promises a significant increase in new titles by the end of March. Sega. In a presentation detailing its results for the fiscal year ending March 2022, parent company Sega Sammy reported strong sales of consoles and PC games, citing increased profits compared to FY 2021 and forecasting even higher numbers for 2023. Puts this forecast down to a significant increase in titles, as well as continued revenue from the large number of new titles released in FY 2022. Includes a number of new games it describes as remake, remaster, spin-off, or change of theme, which it says it is planning multiple titles. According to Sega, in the last financial year, it sold approximately 4 million games that fell into this category, including Sonic Colors Ultimate, Super Monkey Ball Banana Mania, and Lost Judgment, which is considered a spin-off of Yakuza. Sega predicts that it will sell around 5 million games in the same category in the financial year ending March 2023. This will include Sonic Origins, which is released on June 23rd. When is Sonic Frontiers supposed to come out? Sonic Frontiers is, I think, later this year, right? In terms of its games in general, Sega says that 7 titles released in the last financial year had a global stimulus launch and multiple platform support, resulting in around 6 million sales. For the financial year ending 2023, it forecasts more than double the number of sales, around 13 million, due to a drastic increase in the number of new titles getting simultaneous global launches. It was reported last month that Sega is working on big budget reboots of Crazy Taxi and Jet Set Radio. Yep, we read about that. Though these are so early in development that they almost certainly won't be among the remakes and remasters planned for FY 2023. Bloomberg's report last month cites sources which claim that the two reboots will be the first titles in Sega's Super Game Initiative, a 5-year strategy involving what executive VP Shuji Utsumi has previously called the development of AAA titles that cross over Sega's comprehensive range of technologies. According to the new report, both games are in the early stages of creation, could yet be canceled, but it's believed that the new Crazy Taxi has already been in development for more than a year, with the aim being to potentially release it in 2024 or 2025. Okay. Cool. Thanks, Metal. Yeah, you see right here. I remember the old Crazy Taxi arcade game, and Jet Set Radio was really cool. Was that a regular Xbox, original Xbox? Is that what that was on? I can't remember right now. Both pretty cool games, though. Anything else? Anybody got anything else for our news segment today? By the way, don't forget to go get your games. Free games on Epic. Free games on Epic. All right. Jotun, Prey, Redout. Free games, man. Free games. Unless anybody has anything else, that'll do it for the news today. We'll be heading on to our Lost Ark gaming segment for the rest of the day. Thanks to everybody for being here. I appreciate it. I love doing the news, man. It's great stuff. And Metal, shout out. Thanks for the additional article there, buddy. I appreciate it. If you're viewing this not live as a VOD on YouTube, then and you're enjoying the content, consider hitting that like and subscribe button. Maybe leave me a comment so we can have a bit of a discussion on some of the articles that we came across today, okay? Also, if you're not moving on with this or you are viewing this as a VOD, stay healthy, stay safe, be kind to one another, cool. And we will see you tomorrow for May 15th edition of Gaming News. All right?